Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, boss. So we have discussed in the last class about the concept of protective zones. Okay. So we have discussed that to limit the number of circuit breakers that trip during a fault, the protection scheme is divided into number of zones, and the primary responsibility of the breakers of any zone is to protect the elements of that zone. Okay. And if the primary protection fails, we should have backup protection for the short circuit faults. Okay. And we also discussed that primary protection should not be overexcited. That means it should offer sufficient time. The secondary protection should offer sufficient time delay for the primary protection to act first. Understand? So backup protection should only act when the primary protection fails. So all this we have discussed. Let us take an example. 3 sections of feeders are provided with circuit breakers. Sections or zones, whatever you can say. They are provided with the circuit breakers CB1 to CB6, and the fault occurred at location F. Then out of which is the right option? Okay, very simple question. Somebody try to solve it.
Option D, sir.
Yes, circuit breaker 5 must be set to trip before circuit breaker 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why? Because circuit breaker 5 is the zone circuit breaker that should clear that fault. That means, so if the circuit breaker 5 fails, then only the circuit breaker 4 should trip, then circuit breaker 3, like that. So circuit breaker 5 must be set to trip before CB1, CB2, CB3 and CB4. Simple, straightforward question. Now read this question and try to answer. So consider the protection system shown in the figure. The circuit breakers are numbered from 1 to 7. All are identical circuit breakers. A single line to ground fault occurs with 0 fault impedance. That means a dead short circuit LG fault occurs at the point. So this point is calling it as point F. Point F. Okay. But however, circuit breaker 4 has some problem because of which it could not trip. Circuit breaker 4 is having some issue because of which it could not operate. Then if the relays are coordinated properly, the valid sequence of circuit breaker operation is. Okay. So tell me, what is the valid sequence? Anyone? See, gentlemen, very simple question. If the fault is here, the fault current, yeah, C is the right option. C is the right option. See, for this fault, primarily these 4, this is in this zone. Okay, to clear this fault, all these 4 breakers should trip. Otherwise, the fault will not clear. Understand? So if they don't fail, if 4 fails, what is the backup of 4? 3 is the backup. If 3 fails, then definitely 1 and 2 should trip. Sorry, even all these 3 should act as a backup. Okay, all these 3 should act as a backup. So if 4 fails, so first 5, 6, 7 and trip. 5, 6, 7 circuit breakers should trip. And if because 4 is failing, then as a backup of 4, all these 3 circuit breakers should trip. Understand? So C is the right option. C is the right option. Now we read this question. A power system with the two generators, S1 and S2, is shown in the figure. The system, that is generators, buses and transmission lines. These two are generators, these two are buses, these two are buses, and remaining there are three transmission lines. There are three transmission lines. One transmission line, other transmission line, another transmission. So there are two generators, two buses and three transmission lines. All are protected by how many relays? 6 relays. So he's asking what? Assume the relays are directional and non-directional relays at appropriate location. The remote backup of relay R4 is, suppose if relay R4 fails, then what are the remote backups for this R4 relay? So
R1, R6, sir.
R1, R6. Yes, R1 and R6 is the right option. Let us see how. So, what is its zone? The relay R3 and R4 should protect the fault if it occurs in this line. Let us assume the fault is occurring exactly in the middle of this one. So, primarily R3 and R4 should trip and should clear the fault. Okay. Suppose if R4 fails, suppose because of some reason, if R4 fails, then what will happen? Then the current will continue to flow. The current will continue to flow. So in this case, R2 and R5 offers the local backup. R2 and R5 offers the local backup. That means immediately this local backup is provided by R2 and R5 for R4 relay. The remote backup is provided by R1 and R6. Okay. So in this case, R2 and R5 act as local backup for R4, and R1 and R6 act as remote backup for R4. Understand? This is GATE 2016 question. Understand? So which is the right option? Option B is the right option. Gentlemen, have you understood this? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. The next is selectivity. So the other name for selectivity is discrimination. So the protective relay should be able to differentiate whether fault is in its zone, whether fault is occurring in its zone or outside its zone, Okay. So this feature, this relay should have. If it responds to the faults outside its zone before their primary tripping, then it will cause nuisance. So the relay should be able to differentiate whether the fault is in its zone. So if the fault is in its zone, it should act. If the fault is outside its zone, then it should wait for the primary protection of the zone to act. If it fails, then only this should act. So that discrimination the relay should have. So selectivity feature can be achieved by employing. There are two kinds of relays that operate on the selectivity. That is unit protection relay and non-unit protection relay. Understand? So what are unit protection relays? These relays operate only for the faults within its zone. These relays operate only for the faults in their zone. Okay, or in other words, in its unit. Such relays are called unit protection relay. They do not operate outside their zone. Okay, so since they do not operate outside their zone, they cannot be used they cannot be used as backup relays. As backup relays. So unit protection relays will only operate for the faults in their unit or in their zone. They cannot operate outside their zone. You should write they cannot operate. They cannot operate for faults outside their zone. So they cannot be used as a backup relays. Example, Buchholz relay in the transformer. So the Buchholz relay in the transformer will only operate for the faults in that transformer. Suppose there is one more transformer in the upstream, that is high voltage side, and there is one more transformer in the low voltage side. If the fault occurs in either of the upstream transformer or downstream transformer, this Buchholz relay cannot clear that fault, cannot trip. So such relays are called unit protection relay. One more is differential relay, current differential relay or voltage differential relay. They can only operate for the faults within their zone. Outside their zone, they will not or they cannot operate. Understand? Then non-unit protection relays are the relays which have the capability to operate within their zone and for the faults outside their zone. So non-unit protection relays can operate for the faults within their zone and outside their zone. Such relays are called non-unit protection relays. Example, so these relays can provide backup. Since they can operate for faults within their zone as well as outside their zone, so they can provide backup. They can act as the backup relays. Example are overcurrent relays and distance relays. Overcurrent relays and distance relay. Other name for distance relays is impedance relays. Impedance relays. So which are mainly used for high voltage long transmission line protections or transmission line protections. Distance relays. Okay. Next feature of the relay is reliability. The reliability. What is the reliability? The relay should operate when it is required to operate. The relay should not operate when there is no fault. So it should operate then when there is fault. It should not operate when there is no fault. Okay. If it starts operating without any fault, then it is called nuisance tripping. Nuisance tripping, which is a big headache many times, especially in rainy seasons. Understand? So there will not be any fault, but relay continuously keeps on tripping. Such faults are called nuisance tripping. Okay, it affects the reliability of the system. Understand? The next one is economical ability. Economical. So the relay and switchgear system should be cheap. Okay, economical means the relay should be, the cost of the relay should be as minimum as possible. That is one more feature called economical feature. Understand? Next article is basic components of protection. Basic components of protection. So again there is a classification of these components as primary relaying equipment. Primary relaying equipment. If the relay or the relay operating coil, if the relay or relay operating coil is directly connected to the equipment, is directly connected to equipment or in line with the equipment, in line, directly connected in line with the equipment to be protected, then such relaying equipment are called primary relaying equipment. Primary relaying equipment. So examples are fuse. So fuse is directly connected in the circuit for which it is acting as a overcurrent protection. What protection fuse offers? Fuse offers overcurrent and short circuit protection. Understand? Fuse offers overcurrent and short circuit protection. So it is directly connected in the circuit which it is protecting. Understand? It is directly connected in the circuit which it is protecting. Similarly, MCB, miniature circuit breaker. Miniature circuit breaker. Here also, here one conductor will be connected, other conductor will be connected. So directly after this one, you will connecting your geyser, AC, heater, whatever it is. So directly the protection equipment is connected in series with the equipment to be protected. So it is a primary relaying equipment. This one is called RCCB. Sorry. This is RCCB, residual current circuit breaker. Residual current circuit breaker. Okay, so this is the one equipment that will protect you from the earth faults in your house. So if the equipment is connected in your house, you will not get any shock inside your house. This is called RCCB. So again, directly how it is connected, I'll show you the connection. Here this will be phase and neutral are connected here. One is phase and one is neutral. And here after this one, after this phase and neutral, you distribute this in your house. Okay. So this will act as a main switch as well as the RCCB. Okay. If there is any leakage in your house, immediately this will trip. This will cut the fault. Okay. Usually for household ratings, delta IN means 30 milliamperes. If there is any leakage current above 30 milliampere, then this RCCB will trip and safeguard the human life. Understand? So since they are directly connected to the circuit which they are protecting, they are called primary relaying equipment. Usually in low voltage only we can use such equipment. The next one is secondary relaying equipment. Here the relay or the relay operating coil is connected, not directly, is connected to the equipment to be protected through a current transformer or potential transformer or both. Okay. Here the relay or relay operating coil is connected to the equipment to be protected through CT, PT or both. Then it is called secondary relaying equipment. So all the relays which are connected in high voltage and high current LT equipment. That means, so the relays, all the relays that are used in HT are secondary relaying equipment, and all the relays that are connected to the high current LT equipment are also, they are called secondary relaying equipment. That means the relay is not directly connected to the circuit, it is connected through CT or PT, or both. Gentlemen, any doubt so far?
No, sir.
Okay.
Can you say example for high current LT equipment, sir?
You take a 100 kilowatt induction motor.
Okay, okay, sir.
So what will be its full load current? It will be around 200 amperes.
Okay, okay, sir. Fine.
So directly you cannot, if you want to measure the 200 ampere, you cannot put a ammeter directly in series with it. What you do, you connect a CT, and the secondary of CT, you will be connecting it to the ammeter or relay for which you want to protect. Understand?
Okay, sir.
So actually, suppose you want to measure the current or protect, what you will do, here you can see in the image, there is a CT. Okay. So there will be 3 wires that are going to the motor, for example, R phase, Y phase and B phase. So these are connected to the motor, for example, which is say 200 kilowatts. So if it's operating in full load, the current will be approximately 350 ampere. Understand? So to measure that 350 ampere or to protect against any overcurrents, what you will do, you will connect a CT here. So if suppose the CT ratio is, let us say, 100 bar 5 ampere CT is there. 100 bar 5 ampere, or let us say 400 bar 5 ampere CT is there. We have connected. So since the current is 350 ampere, the current flowing through these wires, if they are connected to, say, these two wires are connected to just ammeter. How much current will flow through this one? Since it is 400 bar 5, for 350 ampere, what would be the current? Anyone?
350 by 80, sir. I'm not sure of it actually.
350 by
375 amps, sir.
84. How much?
4.375 amps.
Yeah, 4.375 ampere will flow in the circuit. So when 4.375 ampere flow in this ammeter will show current. Let us say the currents are like this: 0, 100, 200, like this. So somewhere it is 350 is there. So this spindle will show 350 ampere. Understand? That's how you connect a CT. Okay, here you have connected for measuring, ammeter measuring. Suppose if you want to connect to some relay which protects, then also the connection would be same. Instead of ammeter, there would be some relay. You will be connecting these two terminals for a relay. Okay, simply you will be connecting these two. Because a relay is very sensitive equipment which cannot handle this 350 ampere. So we are stepping down this 350 ampere into very low value current in the range of 5 ampere or 1 ampere, and that relay will function depending upon that current. Understand? So next is CT. CT means current transformer. So CT is connected in series. It is connected in a series. It is a series device. The CT ratio, current transformer ratio, is a phase-to-phase current ratio. Very important point. It is a phase-to-phase current ratio. Okay. And what is its function? It steps down high magnitude of current into a low value suitable for measurement or relaying. Relaying means protection. So relaying means instead of connecting it to ammeter, we are connecting it to relay. So why we are connecting it to relay? Relay will make some decision either to trip the circuit. Relay is basically used for protection. So relaying is also called protection. Okay. The primary current of the CT, primary current rating of the measuring CT. There are two types of CTs. One is measuring CT. The other one is protection CT. So basically, primary current rating of a measuring CT is decided on the full load current flowing through that line. It is based on the full load current that is flowing in that line or in that circuit. In the previous case, what was our full load current? Our full load current is in the range of 350 ampere. So we will choose either 400 ampere as a primary current or 500 ampere, because let us have a 100 to 120% flexibility. Understand? So primary current rating of measuring CT is decided by the full load current flowing through that circuit or line. Primary current rating of a protection CT is decided by the fault current rating. Suppose if the fault occurs, what is the highest current that flow in that line? Depending upon that value, you decide the primary rating of the protection CT. Primary rating of the protection CT. The secondary current in most of the cases, it is either 1 ampere or 5 ampere. Okay, the secondary current in most of the cases is 1 ampere or 5 ampere. If you want some other secondary current, then you have to specifically order and get those CTs. Understand? So what are the application of CT? It is used for measuring, or the other word is called metering, and the second one is protection or relay. The symbol that we use for CT is this one. IP is the primary current. IP is the primary current or the main current that is flowing through the line, and then CT will step down this primary current into secondary current IS. Understand? Suppose, for example, as I told previously, if this is a line that is carrying, say, usually CT will be like this. This is how we define it. Suppose the primary current is, suppose CT ratio is 400 bar 1 ampere. And if the current flowing through this line is, say, 800 ampere, then what will be the current flowing in this CT? So this is connected to either relay for protection or for ammeter for measurement. And tell me, what is the current flowing through the secondary? The secondary carries a current of
2 amps, I suppose, sir.
2 ampere. 2 ampere. Understand? Secondary carries a current of 2 ampere. Okay. That is how the CT will function. Those is 2 ampere current will flow through relay or through the ammeter. So if the 2 ampere flow through the ammeter, then the ammeter should show how much current? It should show 800 ampere current. Understand? Now, what is the difference between the protection CT and measuring CT? I'll tell you before. In the previous case, we have seen a motor circuit. I'll explain you. Suppose this is a motor. And this is the feeder, or you have an MCB over here. MCB. Now, if for measurement, usually what you will do, we will not measure all three phases, because in most of the times the current will be same. So if I keep one CT over here, or I'll directly write like this. So this secondary terminals, I'm giving it to what? Ammeter. Ammeter. Okay. Now, suppose the full load current of this motor is, say, 360 ampere is the full load current, FLC, of this motor. Then my measuring CT, I am using 400 bar 1 ampere. 400 ampere bar 1 ampere CT for measurement. Okay. So when you are measuring the current, the ammeter should be very accurate. Understand? Suppose if the current is flowing is 360 ampere, it should at least show the current with 1 or 2% error. That means it can show either 355 or 365 only. It should not show 320 or 400. The error percentage should be very, very small. Understand? Okay, that means it should very accurately operate. The measurement CT should accurately show what is the actual current flowing in the line. Suppose if I use for protection, so measuring CT requires high accuracy when compared to protection CT. Very important point. Measuring CT should be highly accurate in its measuring range. That is from 10% of the full load current to 120% of full load current. It should very accurately measure. Understand? So here if you can see measuring CT, the operating range is linear. It should, the magnetic curve, this is a curve between, we can say B and H. B and H. So when you are measuring CT, should operate in the linear range, of your measurement. After that, once it saturates, what will happen? Whatever be the current, then the indication will not be proper. Understand? Protection CT accuracy is low. Why? Because it needs to sense the current in the long range. Suppose this is the full load current. This current where it is getting saturated is, the current where it is getting saturated is approximately 10 times full load current. 10 FL. The two things which you have to remember is that the measuring CT should be more accurate and measuring CT should operate linearly from 10% to 120% of full load current, and after that it gets saturated. It gets saturated. Second point, protection CT accuracy is low because it needs to operate in a wide range, that is from full load current to 10 times full load current. Okay. The second point is the core of the measuring CT saturates early. The core of the measuring CT saturates early, whereas the core of protection CT should not saturate even if when it carries 10 times full load current. 10 times full load current. That is the point. And the last point is grain oriented steels having high saturation. That means the core material should not saturate early for protection CTs, and the core material that is used for protection CT for measuring CTs should saturate early. That is the point. Okay. Here one small correction which I want to tell you. Here it need not be 4000 bar 5. It can be 400 bar 5 only. But this CT should not even saturate while carrying 4000 amperes. Even while carrying 4000 ampere, the CT should not saturate. Whereas this CT can saturate approximately 450 amperes above, it will saturate. That is the point. Any doubt in CT, gentlemen?
No, sir.
So you can see different types of CTs. The one which I am showing here, it is called bus bar current CT. So directly you can connect one end here, one end you can bolt it here, one end of conductor, the other end of conductor will be here. So this is the primary which carries the high heavy current. Here you can see in the image, if you carefully observe, it is 400 bar 5 CT. So it is the terminal which is carrying the high current. Now here there are two small terminals in the form of screws, if you can observe. So there the secondary connection is used. Here you can see X1, X2, from which you can connect the wires, which you can connect to either ammeter or a relay, Understand? This is a low voltage, high current CT. Understand? The second point is, if here you can see one more type of CT is there, it is usually above 33 kV and above. So here the HT line will be connected here, and the same line will go like this. Okay, 33 kV line. So here there is a terminal box from which the two small wires you can take and connect it to the relay or this one. Okay. So it is also a current transformer. The physical image you can see here. So the primary high voltage conductor will be connected like this. High voltage conductor will be like this. So whatever the current that passes here, let us say 500 ampere, 1000 ampere, whatever it is, the resultant CT from in this terminal box, two will be there. From there you can tap and connect it to the relay or. So these are different constructions are possible. The most probable constructions I have seen. So this is one type of CT which you have seen here. This is one type of CT, circular CT. This is bar CT, and this is the high voltage current transformer. Okay. The next one is potential transformer. Potential transformer is a shunt device. So it is connected between the conductor, high voltage conductor, and the neutral or ground in many of the cases. Its connection will be something like this. Okay, so it is connected to ground, that is primary. The secondary of this one is connected to either voltmeter The secondary of this one is connected to either voltmeter or relay. Voltmeter for measurement, relay for protection. So basically it is connected with, it is a shunt device, it is connected between conductor and ground. Okay. PT ratio is a phase-to-phase voltage ratio. That means R phase will have 1 PT, B phase will have 1 PT. So there will be 3 PTs. That means phase-to-phase voltage ratio in most of the cases. Likewise, even CTs are connected in every phase, depending upon your requirement. Understand? So this is how 3 CTs in 3 lines and 3 PTs for 3 lines. Okay. So PT ratio in most of the cases, it is a phase-to-phase voltage ratio. Phase-to-phase voltage ratio. What is its function? It steps down high magnitude voltage to a low value. To a low value. Primary of the PT is decided by the voltage of the line. Primary of the PT is decided by the voltage of the line in which you are to which you are connecting. Secondary is in most of the cases 110 volts divided by root 3. Approximately it comes under 67 volt. 67 volt. Secondary in most of the cases is 110 by root 3 volt. So why we require PT? PT is used for measuring as well as protection. Measuring as well as protection. Understand? So again, the PTs, there are 2 types of PTs. The conventional 2-winding transformers are used up to 132 kV. That means 2-winding transformers are used up to 132 kV. And for voltages above 132 kV, we go for something called as capacitor voltage transformer. Capacitor voltage transformer. Understand? The symbol for PT, you can see here. This is the symbol. Okay, here is the line that is connected, high voltage line. And this is connected to ground. And here secondary, these points are connected to relay or voltmeter. So you can see here, this is the high voltage PT. It is the point where it is connected to voltage. This terminal is connected to high voltage. And from there is a terminal box from where the 2 wires will come, or 1 wire in most of the cases, or 2 wires depending upon that. So this will be connected to either meter, voltmeter, or relay. Understand? So here this is the high voltage terminal and this is the secondary terminal box. So here in this image you can see 3 phases. All 3 phases can be directly connected. That means this can be connected to R phase, Y phase and B phase. So from the PT box, in this box you can take all the low voltage, this one, and you can use it for measurement or relaying. So this is a 3-phase PT, 3-phase potential transformer, whereas this is a single phase PT. That means it is only connected to 1 phase. Such 3 devices are required to measure all 3-phase voltages. Okay. So how CT and PT are connected in a line? See, suppose this is the circuit. Here we have seen only single phase because in every phase such connections will be there. So suppose this is the line. Here you can see it is the CT. CT is connected in series. This is the primary of CT. This is the primary of CT and secondary of CT is connected to ammeter, you can see in the image. Similarly, this is the PT connection. This is the primary of PT. Primary of PT and secondary of PT is connected in this case to a voltmeter. Understand? So likewise, CT is connected in series and PT is connected in shunt. Okay, here they have shown for measurements. The same connections you can make for relay also for protection. Understand? This is the connection diagram of CT and PT in any one phase. So such three connections will be there for R phase 1, Y phase 1 and B phase 1. Understand? Next is capacitor voltage transformer. Here what is the concept? Because it is the two winding transformer is very costly for high voltages. Just for measurement, you have to put a complete transformer where the insulation cost will be very high. So to reduce the cost for voltages above 132 kV, we go for capacitor voltage transformer. So how it operates? It operates on the principle of voltage division rule across the capacitors. Voltage division rule across the capacitors. Say for example, here the voltage, total voltage between this point and this point is, let us say, 220 kV or 220 kV divided by root 3. Suppose let us assume it is a 220 kV line. 220 kV line. Now since the PT is connected between conductor and ground, so phase to neutral voltage will be 220 divided by root 3. 220 divided by root 3. Now suppose if the PT ratio is C1 value is say 0.1 microfarad and C2 value is say 0.9 microfarad. Let us assume like that. Then what will be this voltage across VC2? Voltage across VC2 according to this will be total voltage into opposite capacitance divided by total capacitance. So this value will become VC2 will become how much? Total voltage is 220 divided by root 3 kV into C1 value is how much? 0.1 microfarad divided by 1 microfarad. So this value will approximately become 22 divided by root 3 kV. So here I am connecting a PT whose value is 22 by root 3. So my cost of PT reduces. So here voltage value steps down to, how much is the voltage value here? This voltage is 22 divided by root 3 kV. Here the voltage will be common, that is 110 divided by root 3, so many volts. Understand? So in this way it will reduce the cost of the voltage transformer by using the capacitor division rule. Okay. Here there is L1. L1 is called tuning inductance. L1 is called tuning inductance. What is the role of this tuning inductance is that to make this voltage division ratio less sensitive to the burdens, of the connected voltmeter or relay. Understand? So that means it is a tuning inductor which will make the voltage ratio more or less constant, irrespective of whether you are connecting voltmeter or relay or whatever may be the secondary impedance offered by that voltmeter or relay. Understand? So that is the point. Understand? This one more important point is the value of tuning inductor is selected such that omega L1, the impedance of the reactive impedance of this one, is equal to 1 by omega into C1 plus C2, where C1, C2 values are these capacitances. This is C1 and this is C2. So that this tuning inductor is modeled such that omega L1 is equals to 1 divided by omega into C1 plus C2. Okay, that is the role of this tuning inductor, and this is the
this is a condition for resonance, no, sir?
Yes, ma'am. We are making it resonant so that whatever the impact of these capacitors and inductors either
cancel each
other. There is no phase shifting effect. There is no other effects. That's why we connect this tuning inductors.
Okay, sir.
Understand? So next type of relay is apart from CT and PT, we are also having CBCT, core balanced current transformer. So where this CBCT used, it is mainly used for the earth fault protection or for operating the ELCB and RCCB. ELCB means earth leakage circuit breaker. RCCB means residual current circuit breaker. So both these earth fault protection devices, there are different names, that is GFR, ground fault relay, EFR, earth fault relay, ELCB, earth leakage circuit breaker, RCCB, residual current sieving. All their names may be different, their functionality is same. The functionality is same. That is, whenever there is some leakage current through the ground because of some fault or some leakage, some short circuit, whatever it is, immediately they will operate and trip the circuit. Why? Because the current that may be flowing through a human body, through an animal, or it can be anything. So earth leakage faults are very dangerous. So that's why these equipment are highly, but their operating time is very, very small. Understand? So earth fault protection for low voltage equipment is ensured by ELCB and RCCB, which operate on the core balanced current transformer. Understand? So CBCT operates only on the zero, it only senses the zero sequence currents. It only senses the CBCT only senses zero sequence currents. So you know zero sequence currents will only flow through the ground. They only flow through the ground. They in the forward direction they flow through the conductor. In the return path they must flow through the ground. So CBCT only senses the zero sequence currents. So CBCT operates, it senses only on the zero sequence currents. Understand? So all the conductors are made to pass through the CBCT. If you are protecting a motor, if you are protecting motor against ground fault, how many conductors will go through the motor? Go to the motor, 3 conductors. So you connect a CBCT. So if the motor is operating in a balanced condition, IA plus IB plus IC is how much? 0. The phasor sum is 0. So what is the zero sequence currents? 3IA naught is 0. Understand? So always remember, IA plus IB plus IC is 3IA naught. We have studied in fault analysis. So if it is balanced, this value will become 0. Otherwise, there will be some net value, that is 3IA naught. Okay. So
Okay,
when it carries balanced currents, the secondary current is how much? 0 ampere. So relay will not trip. Relay will not operate. Understand? Now, if there is any fault, the fault can be either short circuit fault or suppose this conductor is open circuited. It is open circuited. Now the phasor sum is non-zero, that is IA plus IB plus IC is non-zero. So net current will flow through this relay. Okay. Suppose for tripping this relay, I have set some pickup current. That means it will not trip at 0. So if the current exceeds a 0.3 ampere, 300 milliampere, which is an industrial standard. So if the current through this relay exceeds 300 milliampere, what I want to do? I want to trip it. So I'll keep the pickup value as 0.3 milliampere. So whenever the secondary current exceeds this value, then the relay will automatically trip the circuit. Understand?
Yes, sir.
If you are using for your household, then the relay, the CBCT will pass through how much? One phase and one neutral. So whatever current that enters in your house through phase, if it comes back through the neutral, then there is no leakage. No current is leaking through any wall, any object or any human being. That is a fundamental concept. If 10 ampere current flows through the phase, the same 10 ampere current should return. That means there is no fault. If suppose there is some leakage, then my returning current is 9.5 ampere through the neutral. Somewhere in your house, the current of 0.5 ampere is leaking from conductor to the ground. I'm sorry, this should be the conductor. conductor and ground. Understand? So this can be also through a human body. Somebody has touched some live terminal and current is flowing through his body through the ground. Okay, so whenever this difference in current exceeds 30 milliampere, gentlemen, I am telling you, for domestic protection, whenever the difference in current flowing through phase and neutral, if the difference is more than 30 milliampere, then immediately your RCCB will trip. That is a connection which I have shown. So one is going phase and neutral. So this is phase, this is neutral. If the difference exceeds 30 milliampere, this fellow will immediately trip it. This fellow will immediately trip and save the life. Save the life. Here this button is test button. Every month you have to check press one time and check whether my RCCB is functioning or not. It is mandatory in industry to check all the earth leakage or ground fault relays or earth fault protection once in a month, whether they are properly tripping or not. So that's why every earth fault equipment will have one trip button. That means every month you just go and trip it. That means whether the trip mechanism of that breaker of that RCCB or ELCB is functioning or not, because they deal with human life. That is why they're having that much of importance. So suppose if your house is having 3-phase and neutral, then in that case all 3 conductors and even neutral conductor is also passed through this one. Okay, so neutral conductor, suppose these 3 are carrying in this direction, the neutral will carry current in the opposite direction. The overall sum should become what? 0. In this case, IA plus IB plus IC plus IN should become 0. Understand? Because current can return through neutral, but it should not go return through ground. Whenever there is some leakage to ground, immediately CBCT catches and gives signal to the relay. Relay will trip. Relay will trip. Understand? So this is a CBCT. Provok Devi is a famous company in Bangalore, which mainly manufactures earth leakage relays. So this is the CBCT, and from CBCT 2 wires will come from here, which will be connected to this relay. So depending upon this one, it will indicate what is earth leakage current, and we can change the set value, and it will trip. One trip command will go to the breaker, trip command. So this trip command it will give, and the breaker will trip the circuit. Gentlemen, understood?